Welcome back to How to Build Software Without Coding. I'm Mr. Hackathon. I show you how to build software without coding. And today we will be using AI to help us generate a business idea by helping us develop our lean business model canvas. So here's a project that I currently have in the Chrome Web Store. It's called Simplify. And I've used AI to help me generate a rough guideline or a rough outline of the project in its entirety. So, slogans, how to describe the product, value propositions, key metrics. And this is a part of the ideation process when I'm having a conversation with AI and we're going back and forth on how to communicate the product. Often I have the ideas in my head and I can't quite get them down on paper. I don't know quite how to word them. And that is how AI helps me develop a structure to some of my projects. What we're going to do today is to do a similar thing that I've done here, but for this project here, fix my email. So this is a friend's project, and I'm going to show us using this as an example how to use AI to develop our lean business model canvas. For those that are not familiar with the lean business model canvas, it is a framework or structure that many startups and many founders use to help them think about their projects or their startup holistically. As you can see here, there's different sections. You have problem, solution, key metrics, unique value proposition, cost structure, unfair advantage, channels, customer segments, and revenue streams. And we are going to use AI to help us think about some of this and ideate on some of this. What we're going to use today, and I already have this set up, but to show you how to get to this, we are going to use ChatGPT. This is a newer service provided by OpenAI. It has a free version. It also has a paid version now for about £42 a month. The main difference between the two is the paid version during peak times you can still access the service, and the free version during the peak times you probably won't be able to access the service. So you create an account with OpenAI, and then you can click try up here. That will take you to something like this. And what we do here is we start to ask the AI questions. What I'm doing here is a form of prompt engineering. And what I have to do is tell the AI what I want. And the first thing I'm going to do is tell it how to act. So you can typically tell it, act like a founder, act like a product manager, act like a software engineer, act like whatever role, and it will craft the output like it is that particular role. So here we put act like a founder, write one liner ideas for a project at, and if we head back, see, acts as a simple email bot. Let's see, acts as a simple email bot and revises let's see, your email in the style, in a specific style. This is how it works. Act as a founder, write one line ideas for a project that acts as a simple email bot and revises your email in a specific style. We are going to click enter, and what it's going to do now is generate one-liners for this project. And here it's actually generating the name too. And that's particularly interesting because when I tell it act like a product manager, I don't think it actually generates the name. So we can test this again. I'm going to say act like a product manager. And then I'm going to say the same thing. Oh, it does. So it doesn't do the same thing every single time. You can see even here the answers are not even the same every time. So here we have style master. There's no style master here. So we're going to take a look at some of the responses and just find ones we like and use that to ideate and build upon our lean business model canvas. This slogan or the one liner is not actually in the lean business model canvas. So you don't see no one liner here, but it's something I personally like to do when I'm building out my projects. So this is not my project. So I'm going to just put fix this email here. I'm going to put one liner. And I'm going to find maybe a couple I like. All of these are kind of okay. I'm not crazy about any of them, but I think it's very, very clear with the one liner that it provided what the product does. I'm going to take this here and I'm going to add this to that. And if I just go back to my template that I have, and I just check out my template, so problem solution. So next we're going to put problem and work on the problem. Usually a founder should be able to articulate this effectively. They could use this, they can use ChatGPT to help them articulate it in a lot better way, or in a way that's a lot more persuasive. But since I didn't produce the project, I'm not sure what, I can only assume what the problems are um, that founders are facing or people are facing when it comes to writing emails. And what I'm going to do is tell it to write, trying to remember what I usually put. What problems do founders face writing emails? So here you can see it's generating problems. So founders, and I've just put a target demographic as an example. Founders as a target demographic, but founders have limited time. They might not be able to write effectively. It can be difficult to stay professional. It can be hard to be consistent and proofreading and editing. And you'll notice that actually tools like Grammarly attempt to solve proofreading and editing, and some other tools attempt to solve time constraints and writing effectively. But what we'll see here is this tool actually attempts to solve four of these problems. Again, this is a good way to ideate. I'm not sure if you want to just leave it there. You probably don't want to just leave it there, but it's a good way to have a conversation with the AI to ideate and think about your problem in the right way. This could be similar to hiring a consultant, a business consultant, and really and truly, they would say some very similar things to what the AI would say. None of this is groundbreaking. None of this is never seen before. All of this we probably could have came up with without the AI. The AI just helped us get there a lot faster. The solution, the solution is this one liner, and I might actually remove one liner and just leave problem solution. I usually add a long description. So we can have this here. We can say act like a founder. Say write a long description for this product. And you don't have to keep saying act like a founder. Like for example, here where it says act like a product manager, it will keep acting like a product manager. So you'll see, and I'll show you in a couple other prompts following this that you don't have to keep saying act like this, act like that. Okay. You can see it's writing a long description here, and it's probably going to write about 4 paragraphs from what I remember. And as you can see here, it's kind of assuming what the features are. It's assuming, where does it have proofreading here? But we're going to take this and we're going to add this long description. Again, this is not in the lean business model canvas, but we're generally using the lean business model canvas as a basis. There are a couple things that I personally like to add. So the name is Fix This Email. So you can see I'm adding in the chosen stuff. You can see I'm adding things here. I'm not leaving it down to the AI. I'm going to add, I'm going to remove. I'm going to remove this about the key features. I'm going to remove this about proofreading. And it says here it's for busy entrepreneurs. Okay, so what we have here is a problem, a solution, a long description. What we want to add next is potentially existing alternatives. You don't want to leave that, and I'm going to keep stressing this over and over again. You don't want to leave this down to AI, because really what it's doing here with the existing alternatives piece is finding competitors. And you want to do your own competitor research also, but this can help guide your competitor research. As you can see, it produced Canva here, and I don't think Canva would be quite a competitor, but Grammarly and Hemingway would. I don't think this, I don't know how to pronounce this, but this would be a competitor also. But what we can do is just take some of these and say existing alternatives. what we're going to do is jump back to our template. We have the solution, key metrics. So we're then going to say, what key metrics would my product have? Email open rate, email click-through rate. So these are key metrics your product will have. As a product manager, this is especially interesting for me to see what AI actually comes up with and how AI views key metrics. And some of these are really good. As a product that suggests improvements for email, content and structure, making emails more effective, your product might have the following key metrics. So it gives you some interesting key metrics, time saved. And I have Loom. I'm currently recorded on Loom, and Loom has a similar feature. Loom didn't implement that from the beginning. So this tool, this AI tool, is proving that it can be great for ideation. I would actually suggest to complement with speaking to users, complement with all your other strategies as someone who develops products, as a product manager, and use it as a tool that can really help define your process. So we're going to put key metrics. You can add and remove as you wish. You can rephrase. User satisfaction rate, that's obvious. And most of these we probably would have got to if we just sat down and thought about it for a while. Retention rate, that's clear. These two are kind of no-brainers. So we're going to go to the next piece, which is unique value proposition. So it says, what is your clear and simple mission statement that will turn your target prospect into a customer? And I'm going to say, write unique value proposition ideas. So one is maximize your email response rate. I don't really like all of these. I like the first one, maximize your email response rate. The unique value proposition is, what's the benefit to the user? What is your user actually using your product for? We can see it saying communicate with confidence, get real-time feedback on your emails. That could potentially be good too. So what I like here is maximize your email response rate and get real-time feedback on your emails. But really, all of these are okay, but I personally just like the first. I like those two. So we're just going to add all of these here. I'm going to remove this one. I'm going to remove this one. And I'm going to remove this one. And I believe it's called fix this email. We're just going to remove that. And say maximize your email response rate and get real-time feedback on your emails. Those are the two unique value propositions. Next, we will go to unfair advantage. And I'm not sure how well it does with this. It's probably going to generalize. It doesn't know your specific unfair advantage, but you might have unfair advantage in terms of partnerships. You might be have unfair advantage in terms of community. It doesn't know your specific situation, but if we say, write ideas for an unfair advantage. It says natural, proprietary natural language processing, unique features, integration with a database of industry specific language and phrases, using your past email to suggest improvements. So some of these are good. These, and again, these are just ideas. Because I know somebody in the comment section is going to be like, "Oh, you shouldn't do this," but this is a great ideation tool, and anything that can help you get those creative juices flowing will help extremely. So we're going to say unfair advantage. Advantage. And we're going to add that. And so I'm actually going to remove some of these. The ones I'm going to remove is, I'm just going to remove that. We are going to remove this one. I'm going to say it has an integration. And I'm just making these up because I'm not the founder of this product. Okay. So we have 4 unique advantages, or unfair advantages. We're going to go next and look at channels. I typically, sometimes I add complex prompts. Sometimes I add very, very simple prompts. What we've done here is kept the prompts really, really simple because this is a high level overview. And you can see the outputs that are generated are okay. We can do a lot better with a lot better prompts, but this is just giving us a good structure, a good basis to work upon. So what we want to do next is to generate channels. We asked it to write marketing channel ideas, and here it's going to come up with a generic marketing channels. We could have found any of this on the internet. If you're an expert in marketing, you could have came up with all of these ideas. But if you're not an expert in marketing, instead of spending hours trying to figure it out online, we had it here in minutes. What we can see here is come up with content marketing, influencer marketing, email marketing, paid advertising, referral marketing, trade show and events, public relations, and community building. These are generic ways to market. There's no reason, or it doesn't understand anything that's really bespoke here in this prompt that I gave it. So it's giving me all these generic ideas. Content marketing, I might turn around and say, yeah. I might turn around for this type of product and say, okay, I think email marketing can work really well. I could use LinkedIn to reach out to founders, potentially paid advertising, but it costs. It costs a quite bit, and I don't have money for that. So I'll turn around and say, okay, we're going to use referral marketing And we are also going to use public relations. We're going to get coverage from social media, from TV, you name it. So we have some channels that we're going to use to market our product. What we have next is customer segments. Who are your target customers? Obviously, here I've already put entrepreneurs, but let's tell it to write ideas for customer segments. And asking it to write ideas for customer segments is really, really broad. We can go specific to types of founders, we can go specific to types of businesses, but for now, we're just going to leave it really broad. You can see it come up with small business owners, sales professionals, digital marketers, remote workers. That's interesting. Freelancers and non-native English speakers. So I'm actually just going to grab all of these. You probably don't want to focus on all of these at one time, because this will pull you in a lot of different directions. But again, this is just for ideation. I can then go back and say ask it for a cost structure. So I am actually, because I already have an idea what happens if I ask it to write ideas for cost structure and write ideas for revenue streams. So I'm going to ask it something along the lines of this: questions: what are the significant and fixed and variable costs? Right. Yes. For the significant, fixed, and variable costs. So it's come up with development and engineering, server and infrastructure, office space and equipment. And obviously, if you're an indie worker working from your home, some of this won't even really apply to you. Or you might just eat some of this. So you're going to eat customer support costs. You're probably not going to pay for legal and compliance, especially as a one man team or one woman team. Third party costs is interesting, and with a lot of these AI tools, that is something you're going to want to track. You're not going to have any R&D costs. So we're going to take this, and that is going to be our cost structure. And now we're going to type revenue streams. And again, this is generic. I haven't given it any information specific to my personal situation or this founder's personal situation. So it's given me generic output back just based on the idea alone. We have revenue streams here. So what we're going to do is ask it to write revenue streams. Subscription based. And you would have to work out which is going to be best for you. Pay per use model, freemium. For example, if you use freemium, you will be still eating one of these fixed costs for the API third party costs. You will still be eating that for all of the free users. So that will be an expense for you. Would you be able to compensate that with the paid users? Really, it depends on how much you're charging. White label, which is interesting. It's an interesting model that people might have not thought about. white labeling it to other businesses, data licensing, advertising. You people usually say placing ads somewhere, but this is inside the email interface, so I'm not even sure if placing ads will be the best thing to do here. And so we can take this here. Our revenue stream is not going to be all of these. It might be one or two, potentially three. So it might be subscription based, affiliate program potentially, and maybe an enterprise model. So we will actually just get rid of those and just leave that. So we have three potential revenue streams for our project. So we've gone through pretty much the whole thing, and now we have a good framework for our project Fix This Email. This will allow us to think about our project holistically, but also to build upon this. For example, if we go to public relations here, you'll see media coverage. I can then turn around and say, hey, I want to reach out to some media outlets about this project. I already launched it. I can say, write a press release. I can just say, write a press release. Let's just see what comes up if I ask it to write a press release. You can see that it's writing a press release for us. And this is what we would send. This is what we would potentially send to news outlets or to the newspaper or to a magazine. I can tell it to adapt this for specific outlets. You can see it's added key features. And because I've given it a general write a press release, it's given me a general output back. The more information I give it, the better information it's going to give back. You can see at the bottom it makes a note that it should be well written and informative and should target the media that is likely to be interested in a product or service. So here we have a press release, and you can really build upon this. You can add more depth to the prompts to get a better output. But we have a great foundation here for our project to really start thinking holistically about our project with the help of AI. That is all for now. If you have any questions, concerns, or queries, don't be afraid to reach out to me on social media or to leave a comment in the comment section below.